Hello, beautiful hearts. Today, I wanted to share with you something I wasn't fully aware of until quite recently. And it was honestly eye opening for me. It makes so much sense. And by learning more about it, I have become so much more grounded, discerning, and even more compassionate. Now, there's a kind of quiet fatigue many of us carry that doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from taking on too much energy that isn't ours. Have you ever noticed that after spending time in a crowded space, scrolling online for too long, or even listening to someone vent, you feel heavy, anxious, or foggy? That's not in your head. It's energetic residue. Just as we care for our bodies with rest and nourishment, our energy needs cleansing too. In one of my recent videos about living your life purpose, I talked about decision hygiene, and similarly, we also need to keep energy hygiene, learning how to stay clear, grounded, and aligned in a world that constantly pulls at our attention and emotions. Before I understood this, I thought feeling drained was normal, that being sensitive meant I just had to toughen up or even learn how to be cold. I'd leave social gatherings or meetings feeling depleted for no obvious reason. It took me a long time to realize that I wasn't just processing my own emotions, I was absorbing everyone else's. Without realizing it, I had become a sponge for the world's noise. I wasn't tired because I'd done too much. I was tired because I hadn't protected my energy. Energy hygiene isn't about shutting yourself off from the world. It's about learning how to engage with your heart open without losing yourself in the process. You can be compassionate without being consumed. You can care deeply and still maintain your peace. That's alignment, not walls, but boundaries that keep you connected and sovereign at the same time. In our fast paced world, energy is constantly moving between people, through screens, in the spaces we inhabit. We live in a time when connection is instant, but often overwhelming. Every message, image, or conversation carries vibration, and without awareness, we can end up entangled in frequencies that don't belong to us. We scroll through pain and comparison, absorb other people's urgency, and forget that we have the right to filter what enters our field. The result? Burnout, disconnection, and the quiet loss of joy. So, how do we begin to stay aligned amid all of this? The first step, just like everything else in our transformational journey, is awareness. Learning to notice what your energy feels like when it's yours and when it's not. That awareness becomes your compass. Think of your energy as a home. You wouldn't leave your front door open to just everyone, right? In the same way, your energetic boundaries protect the sacredness of your inner world. And let me digress for a second here. I remember shortly after my spiritual epiphany earlier this year, I had this vivid dream in which I was at home and I locked my door so nobody could come in. But I opened the door briefly for someone I was close to, and as they entered, a bunch of other strangers come in with them. And I wasn't able to block them out as I had initially planned to. And I thought that dream was such a beautiful illustration of how sometimes my energy leaked and how I absorbed energies that I didn't want. There's a subtle but powerful difference between reacting to life and responding from alignment. When you're grounded, you can feel someone's emotion without mistaking it for your own. You can witness chaos and still return to calm. You can be surrounded by intensity and yet stay connected to your inner peace. This isn't detachment, it's mastery. You're learning how to be an observer. I began to practice this after that dream. I realized that every time I opened my phone, my energy shifted. Every time I checked messages before grounding myself in the morning, I felt hijacked by the day before it even began. So I started experimenting with small shifts. I made space for quiet before consuming information. I set an intention before walking into crowded rooms. It seemed simple, but these small choices began to change everything. My presence became calmer, my focus clearer. I started feeling less and less being pulled in every direction. In other words, I've started to feel more rooted. Energy hygiene is like brushing your teeth. You don't wait until something feels wrong to do it. It's a daily act of maintenance. And what's beautiful about this kind of self care is that it doesn't just benefit you. When your energy is clear, you become a mirror of calm for others. You radiate coherence, and that coherence helps bring harmony to every space you enter. One of the most profound realizations I had about energy hygiene came during meditation. I saw how every thought I carried had a vibration. When I entertained fear, judgment, or resentment, my energy field contracted. When I chose gratitude, love, or compassion, it expanded. My energy wasn't something happening to me, it was something I could consciously direct. That's when I began to understand what it meant to live in energetic alignment, to be intentional about what I amplify and what I release. There's something sacred about taking ownership of your vibration. When you do, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and start recognizing your power as a creator. You stop absorbing everything and start radiating from within. You begin to live not reactively, but intentionally. And yet, life will always test that clarity. You will meet people whose energy feels heavy, situations that feel chaotic, or days when the noise of the world just seems too loud to bear. In those moments, it's easy to forget your power. This is especially hard when those heavy and negative energies come from people who you deeply care about your parents, your loved ones, your children. But those are the times when energy hygiene matters most. It's not about escaping the world, it's about remembering that you carry your own light, and that no matter how turbulent the external becomes, your inner frequency can remain steady. When you feel yourself getting pulled into someone else's storm, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself this is not mine to carry. When you feel drained, visualize your energy returning to you, flowing back into your body like light filling a vessel. When you sense heaviness lingering after a conversation or a difficult day, imagine standing under a waterfall of light, washing everything away. These are not just visualizations, they're acts of reclamation. Over time, you'll start noticing patterns. You'll sense which environments energize you and which deplete you. You'll recognize the difference between empathy and enmeshment, between helping and overgiving. You'll begin to move through the world not as someone who absorbs energy, but as someone who anchors it. The truth is, the world doesn't need more people who are overwhelmed by its pain. It needs people who are clear enough to hold space for healing. Energy hygiene allows you to become that, a steady presence in a chaotic world. It allows you to love deeply without losing yourself, to serve others without emptying your own cup, and to stand in truth without being shaken by fear. I've learned that alignment isn't a fixed state. It's a living, breathing practice. There are days when I still forget and absorb too much. There are moments when I feel scattered and I have to return again to stillness. But each time I do, I remember that my energy is my responsibility and also my gift. The more I care for it, the more I have to give. If you begin to view your energy as sacred, everything changes. You stop chasing balance and start embodying it. You stop waiting for calm to appear and begin generating it from within. And from that place, your life becomes magnetic. Not because you're trying to attract anything, but because your vibration naturally calls in what aligns. As you move through your day, I invite you to become more intentional about your energy exchanges. Notice what drains you and what nourishes you. Notice how your energy feels before and after certain interactions. Awareness alone is a powerful medicine. It teaches you what to welcome and what to release. And with each choice, you reclaim a little more of your power. The practice of energy hygiene is a return to sovereignty. It's remembering that your peace, your clarity, your joy, they're not fragile. They're renewable sources that thrive when you tend to them. You're not powerless in the face of the world's noise. You are a tuning fork for harmony, capable of choosing the frequency you wish to live in. At the end of the day, staying aligned isn't about doing more. It's about being more conscious of how you move through the world. It's choosing to act, speak, and respond from the vibration of love rather than fear. It's taking care of your energy not as a luxury, but as a necessity because your light matters. When you keep your energy clear, you contribute clarity to the collective field. When you stay aligned, you become a quiet reminder to others that peace is possible, even in the busiest world. And maybe that's the real beauty of energy hygiene. It's not just self care, it's service. Because every time you choose alignment over chaos, every time you return to your heart when it would be easier to close off, you help shift the frequency of the spaces you touch. You make the world just a little lighter. So take a deep breath. Feel your energy settle back into your body, grounded, clear, and whole. This is you in alignment, present, powerful, peaceful. The world around you may be busy, but within you, there's always stillness. And from that stillness, your true energy shines. And before you go, if you feel that pull to finally unlock your heart, I'd love to walk that journey with you. Through my 3 months transformational coaching experience, guided by my signature heart framework, we'll go beyond quick fixes and surface advice. Together, we'll gently unravel what's been holding you back so you can heal, embody your truth, and create a life that feels real, aligned, and truly yours. If this speaks to you, book your free consultation call today and let's explore what's possible for your heart, your life, and your next chapter. I will see you in the next video. Bye.